Hola, hola, mis amigos. Sorry for being a couple minutes late. We're always running behind time, it seems. We are now on Mexico time.
It's usually due to technical difficulties.
Usually due to technical
I
difficulties,
think
that's
you
right.
should seriously consider another program. I'll try to go find out what Travel Droner recommended.
Yes, well, we will use another program here eventually, I think. But for now, we'll make do with what we got. Unfortunately, sometimes this thing here, I don't know, like it was trying to connect for like 3-4 minutes, and then it came up and said an error, wasn't able to connect. So I shut it down, restarted it, and away it goes, and now it's working. Hopefully you can hear us okay. Let me check the volume. That's now it's working. Oh yeah. Hopefully you can hear us. That's always an issue as well, the volume. And sometimes YouTube as well is not perfect either, right? Like YouTube will have glitches itself. So, life's not perfect and we just have to make the best of what we have, right? Right, Annie? Just like I'm not perfect and Jennifer has to make the best of me. So today on this live, my friends, we are going to talk about our experiences here in the Yucatan and in the Mérida area. So you have Mérida, you have Chicxulub, you have Progreso, you have Chilam, you have Chaberna, which are all within 40 minutes of one another, and all those other towns that I mentioned are all beach towns just north of Mérida, not very far, like a short drive away, So there's a lot to do here. There really is. There's a lot of good experiences here, like you can explore a lot of area in a short period of time. Like you can do a lot of day trips from Mérida, which I think is appealing to a lot of people, right? Like you can hop in your car and within a half an hour you're on the Gulf, and there's so many towns you can go to other than even the ones I mentioned. Like you have Seasell as well, and Campeche is not that far away. You could go to Campeche for the day, a couple hours and you're in Campeche. So there's just so much to do within the vicinity of Mérida, and that's not to mention all the ruins and all the cenotes. There's just and all the little pueblos that are the little towns that are close by, as well as the beach towns. So there's an abundance of stuff to do here, an abundance of stuff. You would never get it all done in 2 weeks. Like coming here for 2 weeks, right, babe? You could never see everything. You couldn't. And that's kind of why we chose to do what we're doing, to go to a place for a year at a time, so we can make some connections, make some friends. That's part of the journey for Jennifer and I as well, right, honey? To make friends, make as many friends as possible, and as well to see the area. And the friends that we make on the way is just enhances the experience here in the Yucatan or here in Mexico or for wherever you travel. If you're there for a long time, you're able to make some connections, which is always nice, right? So, anything you want to add, babe? That's our topic for today.
Yeah, he mentioned that these places are easy to get to by car, but that's because we have a car and that's how we experience it. But it's also very easy to travel there by other means, like the
Yes.
Auto bus goes to town, as well as the collectivos. So if you want to go, to Uxmal, for example, and I don't know if Auto bus goes there, but if they don't, then there's a route of collectivos you could probably take there, and collectivos are basically a bus transportation in that it's public transportation, but it's really a van. It's a VW van.
Yeah.
That takes you from country to country, and they're usually between two spots. So Mérida to Progreso, Mérida to Motul, etc. So you could take a network of these. So take Mérida to, I don't know,
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Valladolid, Uxmal.
Yeah.
you could go to C-Cell,
Yeah.
and
So
if you don't want to take that route, you can also rent a car, or you could hire a driver to take you if you don't want to drive yourself, right?
many people do that.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
many modes of transportation to get around here. That's right. You don't necessarily need a car, right? There's many modes of transportation.
Good morning,
Hey,
crazy boy.
in stereo. Thanks for hopping on, brother. Appreciate it. I assume you're a brother with Crazy Boy. I don't know what the radio is about. Crazy Boy Radio? Or do you do a radio show? Thanks for being here with us anyway. We really appreciate it. And good morning to you.
Yes.
So,
thanks for hanging around and listening to me. What's the word I used?
ramble.
Ramble.
We're not going to ramble
Yes.
today, though. We're here on a mission with some valuable information.
I should say, because we did advertise it, right, that we were supposed to have a guest on, a single woman living in Mexico, and unfortunately she's ill and cannot make this live. So we wish her the best and a speedy recovery, and
Yes.
so sorry.
Yeah.
So that's why you get me rambling.
Shout out to her if she's watching. I hope you feel better really soon. And like Jennifer said, we do wish you all the best. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, those things happen. Take the good with the bad. And we really do hope that she has a speedy recovery. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. Like we've said, we've been here for 2 years, so we have a fair amount of information about this area. And as you guys all know, we've explored this area to death. We have some favorite spots that we like and some spots that we didn't really care for, So I'll start off with the C-Cell, for example. It was okay, but it's not like C-Cell for me wasn't like, oh my God, I got to go to C-Cell. It's such an amazing place. Whereas El Cuyo was, oh my God, it's such an amazing place. I got to go there. C-Cell was just, it wasn't awful, but it's not the top of my list. Like out of a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it probably a 4, whereas El Cuyo on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 9.
I think the way I feel, you could compare C-Cell to Chicxulub, and Chicxulub is much closer.
Yeah, but I like Chicxulub, yes.
But like for size and what's there.
Mm-hmm.
So basically you have the beach and you have a smattering of bars and restaurants.
No, I lost the webcam.
Oh, we got sound.
Hey, how's that, guys? Is that better? Sorry. I don't know what happened there. Are we back with volume?
And we got picture.
Are we back with volume? No, I lost the webcam.
Sorry, guys. You want to try that again? I'll just, I don't know what you guys missed, but I'll just start off with saying when we were in C-Cell one afternoon, we watched the flamingos fly by the coastline, like a lot of them, like flocks of them, pretty much the whole day we were there. So that was kind of cool. We've never experienced that here because they keep to the RIA and the mangroves in this area.
If we lose volume again, can you please just let us know? Try not to touch any of those wires over there. I don't know why. I don't know why we have such terrible problem with the microphones. I wonder if my jacks in my computer are maybe messed up. But if we do have a problem with the sound, please let us know, guys. Thank you. Because I don't want to keep turning up my phone, and then you guys are going to hear me talk again.
So when I asked Daryl what we're going to talk about, I mean, he named off some things, and he talked about experiences. So whenever I think about my experiences here, yes, it's the people we meet, the places we see, but there's one experience that I kind of consider myself an expert on, and that is renting here. So when we arrived fresh, we really didn't have too much help. I mean, we used realtors because I thought that's what you did. In any research we did online, that's what people did. They used realtors, and they're fine. We had some We worked with like 2 or 3 different realtors when we first got here, because we were in panic mode. We only had our Airbnb for 5 days, and felt we couldn't apply for our temporary residency or finish applying until we had some sort of lease on a home. So um, we were kind of at their mercy. So we told them, we want to live at the beach, and this is our budget. And they're like, can't really do it for that, but let's go see. So they showed us our budget, and they were not nice places at all. So we're like, okay, obviously we can't afford to live at the beach. I guess we'll look in Mérida, which we did. And I really don't remember about all the places that we saw, but ultimately the place that we picked, it was, we were kind of starstruck by it. It was just a beautiful brand new Pravada, but it was furnished, yes, but just furniture. There was no dishes, there was no bedding, there was no towels, just basically furniture. There was a couch, no TV, couch, chairs, dining room table, and beds, and that was it. So the expenditure to set ourselves up with a household was something I was not prepared for when I came here, because in my mind, furnished meant you had all that stuff. So that's what we did. We thought, okay, this is what's available. Our budget gets us in Mérida. We ended up going over budget too, by the way, because we fell in love with that place, and based on what she was showing us, that's what the budgets were. But I think she just wanted a higher commission. I don't know for sure. There was one realtor. She showed us exactly what we wanted and in our budget. Great places. But we just fell in love with this one. We were starstruck by it, and we didn't see past everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so it comes time to move. And of course, we had to do the 2 deposits and pay the lawyer. And so we're all of this stuff we were expecting because of the internet, and because these people, these realtors and everybody else, and our friend, they were telling this is what to expect. So that was not out of the ordinary for us. But then when it comes time to move, and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to use a realtor. I want to try to do this on my own. So then we contacted people directly, owners directly. We drove around getting phone numbers, and I contacted 50 phone numbers by WhatsApp using Google Translate. I don't know if any of you know this, but WhatsApp is highly used here. So you're able to put WhatsApp on your desktop. You just have to scan a barcode and everything else. There is a desktop version. So I would just 2 screens, translate on here, copy and paste over here, etc. When I took over, I found all these places were fully furnished with dishes and pots and pans and everything. Maybe not so much linens, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather use my own linens, I think. I'm even kind of about it in a hotel room. I just shut my brain down to it.
Yeah, every place is like an Airbnb. It's fully equipped, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, except for the first one that we rented. But like Jen said, we were starstruck. We just fell in love with it because of the pool, the gym, all the amenities.
Yeah.
And the grounds are really nice. It was a
And
really
there was
nice Bravada.
when I dealt with the owners directly, there was no aval. So they say this aval maybe for security reasons, because we don't have, we're not
Well,
citizens
exactly.
or
For
permanent
people who are going to move here.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if it's only going to the realtor. I don't know this for sure. It's what my mind works on. Is that they're taking that one aval and they're giving it to the realtor, because I've heard that they get 1 month's rent. So if they take your money and give it to the realtor and say, okay, we're done, is that really what it's for? Because I have not met anybody who got both deposits back ever. So That's just my mind breaking working. I don't know.
We got some of our deposits back. That's another thing. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of times you don't get your deposit back. We have gotten some, but I've heard from multiple people that most people are not getting their damage deposit back when they rent a place. They find some excuse not to give it to you. So the first place we had that we
broke the lease.
Yeah, we broke the lease. So she did give a percentage of it back, which was very decent of her. She didn't have to give any back because we did break the lease. And the other place, they gave a percentage, almost all of it back in Progreso. They gave it almost all of it back, but they kept some because of the garden, the yard. They said they had to clean the yard, and it was all just sand and weeds, the yard. So, whatever, they had to pay a gardener to clean the yard. They said that was sand and weeds. I don't know how much they kept, but
1,000 pesos.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, so once we got out to the beach and we're dealing directly with the owner, there was only one deposit.
Yeah.
And yes, we did have to use a lawyer, but
we used our own lawyer.
Yes, like we can hire whatever lawyer we want. It does not have to be what your realtor says, and it does not have to be what the owner says.
That's actually a very good point.
Yes.
Always get your own lawyer. Don't take the lawyer. Like if you're moving here and you're going to be renting a place or buying a place, get your own lawyer. Don't use the lawyer that they're going to get, because they're going to get a lawyer that's going to obviously be in their best interest. So, you know, we have information, we have contacts, we have some really good contacts for some really good lawyers. If you want to reach out to us through our email or drop us a comment or whatever, somehow, and I can get you some trustworthy, reliable lawyers who are going to be for your best interest. Our dear friend Jessica's a lawyer, and be more than happy to help you. And we have
our
another
lawyers
lawyer.
Do not charge you anything near what the realtors will bring you or the owners will bring you.
Yeah, they were a lot cheaper, like over less than half than what they were charging us.
Yeah.
So that's why it's always best to just do things yourself. You're going to save a lot of money. And
it's more work.
It is more work for sure, yeah.
But
if you're on a budget and you want to save money, do the work.
Yeah.
Or if you don't, then pay someone to do the work for you, but you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know? And get your own lawyer. That's a big, huge thing. And what we did, like Jennifer said, we hopped in the car, we drove down all the beach roads, and we took down 50 phone numbers ourselves, right? Took 2 days, a day and a half, whatever it was. Went home and started contacting all these phone numbers, and probably only about half of them got back to us. But you know what? We found lots in our price range that was really decent. And they were all negotiable too, right?
Right.
Every one of them is negotiable. So just
what is
because
that
they
word?
advertise 21,000 pesos a month doesn't necessarily mean that they're getting 21,000 pesos a month. You can negotiate. You know, and that's what we did. And
barter, that's the word I'm looking for.
Barter, yeah. And another thing we did, which helped us out a lot, is we said, you know, if you have the money, you know, we said, we'll give you 3 months in advance rent up front to whatever in your favor, right? We did it to one place because a lot of places here want a year lease. So we didn't want to do a year lease. So we said, well, we'll pay 3 months up in front, but we only want to sign a lease for 6 months. You know, or whatever it may be. We'll give you 3 months. We don't want to pay the aval. We'll give you 3 months cash up front, and we don't pay the aval. You know, money talks, right? So, anyway, very good advice advice for if you're renting here. Be very careful.
Yeah, even if you're using a realtor, get in front of the owner. We are not the only ones that have found this trick, because the realtor does not want their commission affected. So get in front of the owner to do the bartering. And you know what? Maybe if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
That's right.
Yeah. And I know our friends of ours they bought a house, so they were the buying. So the realtor was the owner, belonged to the owner. So there was working for the owner of the house, and she wanted the realtor to relate an offer on the house to the owners, and the realtor said no, they won't accept that. Didn't even ask them. And she said, please ask them. So she did, and within minutes they accepted.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. If you can get in front of the owner, in that case, they couldn't get in front of the owners. They were out of country. But if you can communicate with them in some way, you're going to be able to negotiate a lot better.
Yeah.
Because there's too many interested parties, whether it's a lawyer or a commission or a realtor, whatever. They don't want to lose out on money.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say they're going to lie to you, but they'll lead you where they want you to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's that.
Do you have any questions, guys, about renting here? Reach out. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
We're an open book.
Yeah. So that's my experience. So so moving from here, we're going to try a new experience. Like, we know what works for us here. So I don't think we'll use a realtor in Jalapa unless we get stuck and we can't find anything. But I don't think that's going to be our go-to in Jalapa.
No, and
I think we know that direct calling or contacting the phone numbers. You drive around with signs for rent. We know that works. It's a lot of work, but it works for us. But we're going to try something new, and but I'm hesitant on this, but we'll see how it goes. We're gonna obviously we want an Airbnb because I'm not going to rent anything sight unseen. So for a little while, say we'll rent for a week or a few days, whatever, prior to arriving in Jalapa, and we'll see about renting Jalapa's Airbnbs until we find them that we like in an area that we really like, and then contact the owner outside of Airbnb. And I say Airbnb, but there's other platforms that I like. I always check on Airbnb site, but I often don't book through Airbnb site because there's other sites that I find other things. So
a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. So anyways, if we find one in an area that we like and we like the home and it'll meet our needs, we'll just ask the owner outside the platform if they're willing to rent long term, and then start negotiations from there. But the only reason I'm hesitant to do that is because it can get very expensive and a lot of work to bounce all our stuff from Airbnb to Airbnb to find one that we like and want to spend more time in. So we really, I think, have to choose our first one really wisely. But how do you do that when you've never been to the area, right? So,
well, we'll have to go there and find out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think is there more you want to talk about renting?
No, I want to move on to locations. So locations we've lived in is just outside of Mérida, in town in Progreso, outside of town in Chicxulub.
Yeah.
So
we'll start off with the first place. So the first place was just
the Privada outside of Mérida. We didn't
north of Mérida, about 15 minutes on the highway going to Progreso. So it's the main 4-lane highway from Mérida to Progreso, which is super, super busy. Super busy. The problem I had with that place, so there's a golf course there. I just want to talk briefly about traffic there. So it's right by La Ceiba, which is a really fancy golf course, and it's a community. It's a gated community with a big golf course inside the gated community. So all golfers would live in there, right? People that are right into golfing. So the problem with that area, though, when you come out of that Privada, you come up to the highway, and you have to head north, and then you got to cut across 4 lanes of traffic to do the returno to go back into Mérida. So it's not very much of a distance. You pull out, and you got to merge all the way across to the far left lane to get in that turning lane to do the returno to go back. There's a lot of that here I can't speak for everywhere, but you're backtracking lots here because they don't have, there's no left-hand turns. You got to go all the way up and turn around at a proper overpass where you're able to do a returno. So that was dangerous. I seen a lot of accidents there, because that highway is super busy with people flying out to the beach and they're just leaving the city. So it's the same in Canada, people get in the highway and they pedal to the metal, right? But that's a really terrible, terrible intersection there. Living there I hated going across there all the time. Sometimes wasn't too bad when it wasn't busy, but most of the time it's super busy. So, and it's getting busier here with traffic because more and more people are coming here. Stop coming here. Go somewhere else. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's super busy, and that living there was one of the downfalls that I didn't like about it. Other than that, the location was okay. Other than there was a tiny little convenience store that we could walk to, and there was no sidewalks to walk the dog, so there wasn't a lot in that area. There was a lavanderia, a laundry facility there. There was two girls who would cook pizza outside in a pizza truck on the weekends, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday type thing, and then they disappeared. And then another one opened up at the store in the parking lot, and they were pretty good. But yeah, there just wasn't a lot around there. You pretty much had to drive everywhere, so that was a little bit of a nuisance, right? But the main reason why we left that area was because of the power. The construction, we kept losing power. The power was going out daily, and Jen was getting disconnected from work, and it was a big hassle for the IT guy to constantly have to reconnect Jen to the server back home in Canada. So it just became a nightmare for Jennifer there, a nightmare. So that's why we reneged in our lease there, right? So, yeah. Other than that, that's really all I have to say about that area, right, babe? The home was nice. It was the
Beautiful
people,
home.
beautiful home.
2-bedroom.
Bravado was nice. Yeah. The people were super friendly. Pasquale, the video that's dropping next week, he was one of the gate guys there, and yeah, we just met some amazing people there. So.
So next we were in Progreso, and we only stopped in Progreso because the house that we really wanted to rent was not going to be available until September.
Yeah.
And so we rented the Progreso house for 4 months. We loved it. It was a beautiful house.
It was beautiful, yeah.
I
Small,
loved the
but it
wood
was beautiful.
shutters. The things I loved about it turned out to be the things I ended up hating about it. So the wood shutters were beautiful. It was a massive home. Like, it was one floor, but it was massive. And it was only 2 bedrooms. But honestly, that one bedroom was so massive, it could easily have been 2.
Yeah. Sorry for yawning so much, guys. We had a late night last night up visiting friends, and yeah. Not used to staying up so late.
Of all the locations we lived, that was my favorite. We spent a lot of time biking the Malecon.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't too close to the Malecon. We did walk it a few times, but it was
we were close enough.
For most people, it'd be a little too far to walk it. But we did bike it, and a very easy bike ride.
Yeah. I love that location. I did.
Yeah, we were very active in that location.
Yeah, I just love biking on the Malecon there, riding my bike down and in the evening. It was so enjoyable. You had the nice ocean breeze and just seeing all the people out living their lives, all the families, the little kids, just out enjoying life. It was incredible to live there. I really enjoyed living at that location. I did. And
hated
we loved
the house though.
Yeah. Well, hate
it
is
was
a strong
too hot.
word.
It was
Yeah,
way
it was
too
hot. We were there in the summertime, and like Jen said, it just had the wooden shutters. There was no windows. It was just
no
screens,
window panes,
right?
just mosquito
just
netting
screens.
with wood shutters. So we always had to have them shut.
Yeah.
So we lived in a dark hole for 4 months.
Yeah. Well, we're there during the heat.
The heat
though.
would just pour in,
Yeah.
pour in, and there was no relief at night. Like it's not like we could open up the windows at night to cool it down and then shut them in the morning. No, there was no relief. The way we got no ocean breeze. There was just too much around us.
Yeah.
So there was
It was a really hot home. It was really hot. That was the only. Other than that, that was the only drawback. Was really hot.
And then no hot water.
Yeah, but that was whatever. We worked around it, right? Like, we made the best of it. It wasn't a deal breaker. There was no hot water in the kitchen, so I had to fill up. I was filling up a tub in the bathroom and using hot water from a pail dumping it in the sink, obviously, from the bathroom to do the dishes. So, but yeah, that was not the deal breaker. The backyard was beautiful. It had a nice pool, big backyard, nice concrete deck around the pool. It was nice. It was really nice. Palm trees in the backyard, all sand. It was really nice. For me, the only deal breaker there was it was hot. It was super hot. Mm-hmm. So, but we loved the location. Just loved it. Like, we were literally one block from the beach. It was a corner lot, so we were right on the corner, and it was literally a short block to the beach, not even a full city block, like a town block. It was a very short walk to the beach, and a short bike ride to the Malecon. If I had to pick between, if I was to come here and live brand new, fresh, it would be in Progreso. It would be at the beach. It wouldn't be Mérida because it's too hot, and you don't really get much of a reprieve from the heat here, other than maybe a few months in the wintertime, you know. But as soon as May and June comes, and July, it actually starts April, May. Starts to get pretty hot here. At least at the beach, you have a breeze most of the days, so it is 5 degrees cooler at the beach. So I would totally pick the beach over Mérida any day of the week. And then you could just drive to Mérida. You know, Mérida's got everything you could ever want. You know, it's kind of the best of both worlds if you lived out there. And I would pick Progreso because it's bigger, and it offers a little bit more than, say, Chicxulub or Chicxulub. Chicxulub is a beautiful beach town, though. I see the attraction with Chicxulub. There's a lot of street vendors. A lot of Americans live in Chicxulub. There's a lot of street vendors, and it's a really nice little beach town. It's fairly clean. It's really got a nice beach vibe to it, and it's very friendly atmosphere. So is Chicxulub. That whole area is. People are very friendly, very nice. I see the attraction with Chicxulub. I do. Yeah.
But I think to consider, if you don't have a vehicle, Progreso is your better option.
Yes.
Because you can at least, like they've got that super key right downtown Progreso, as well as 2 other grocery stores just on the edge of town. So depending where you live in Progreso, you could possibly walk to get your groceries if it's cool enough.
Yeah.
And definitely. The Mercado as well is very close to, it's right around the corner from the grocery store.
Yeah. So. Progreso just offers a lot more. That's all.
Yeah.
But like I said, I really do like Chicxulub. I do.
And it's not very likely to get a rental in Mérida that's walking distance to a Mercado or a store. Yeah. The best you could do is probably, I don't know it's one of the Montes, but I don't know exactly which neighborhood, but it would be by the La Gran Plaza Mall.
Yeah.
Because that's got a grocery store in it. And it's a residential area. So if you lived there, you could potentially walk to your shopping. But that's it.
Yeah. So before we go on anymore, I'm just going to tell you my favorite spots that I like. So Land's End in Taberna to go to the beach. I discovered that on Google Maps and started going there. When I first went there, it was just locals there. That's all I ever saw was locals. And it was beautiful, beautiful beach. It was like almost like untouched, no tourists. There was no white people there. It was all locals. It was me and Jen with a bunch of locals, and the beach was massive, massive. So you walk a few feet down. If you go there on a weekday, you got the whole beach to yourself. So that's my favorite beach is in Taberna. They call it Land's End. And then my favorite beach town is El Cuyo. So that's Elcuyo. Elcuyo. That's my favorite beach town, and it's a few hours from here, but it's just a quaint little beach town. We have a couple of videos there, and it's absolutely amazing. Like, I highly recommend anybody that comes here to go to El Cuyo, if you're here long enough, to go check it out, because you won't be disappointed. It's a wonderful place. Absolutely wonderful. Hey, baby, we both really liked El Cuyo a great deal. So it's kind of a little hidden gem. It's not on a lot of people's radar. I tell people about it, and they're like, I never even heard of it. Everyone's heard of Holbox, and if you had to pick between Holbox and El Cuyo for me wins hands down every day of the week, all day. And then my second favorite place would be Bacalar. Everyone's heard of Bacalar, I think. Most people, you guys are all on here on YouTube, and I know you guys follow everybody else that's doing videos in Mexico. So, everyone's heard of Bacalar, and a lot of people have been there. But that definitely on our list is one of the favorite places to go as well. So Bacalar, El Cuyo are my 2 favorite places. And also Campeche, the beach town, the town, not the state as well, but I mean the city itself of Campeche. It's very laid back, it's quiet, and it has everything. It's not as big as Mérida, but it's bigger than Progreso. I'm not sure the population, but It's a small city. It's a small city, and it's right on the coast. It's basically straight west of Merida, so about 2 hour drive, and highly worth the visit to go there. They have a nice Malecon. It's kind of like the Puerto Vallarta Malecon. There's no beach. It's just a Malecon with a stone wall, right? So, and then it's also got the walled city around it. So very ancient, historical. And yeah, and we just liked it there. We really liked it. People are super friendly. It's very slow pace, very laid back. Yeah, just everything seems to be slower. Everything. Traffic moves slower. Yeah, it's nice. I really liked it. What else? Any other places you think to highlight? So that's mine. For towns and Pueblo. I guess Home Moon. You have to go to Home Moon. That's where all the cenotes are. So you're going to want to go to Home Moon. Valladolid. Everyone's heard of Valladolid. Not everyone's heard of Home Moon, but everyone's heard of Valladolid. The Yellow City. Everyone has to go to the Yellow City. What's the Yellow City called again? I can't remember. I just noticed it.
Izamal.
Izamal, yes. Izamal. And I think that's about it, eh? So Izamal, Homoon, Valladolid, El Cuyo,
Cancun.
Bacalar. Well, Cancun, but we're not going to talk that far away. Everyone knows about Cancun. We'll just talk about the vicinity here. And then our favorite rooms would have to be
Uxmal.
Uxmal, yeah. If I had to pick between Chichen Itza, obviously, I mean, go to Chichen Itza for sure. It's the seventh wonder of the world. You know, to say you've gone there, it's absolutely amazing and beautiful. Very, very touristy. Very, very touristy.
Lots of people.
Lots of people. Very busy.
Go at opening.
But
Go at
Uxmal,
opening.
yeah, we went there at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you guys watched our video, and they were lined up already to get in. Like there was a lineup of 50 people to get in there, and they weren't even open. You know, and we showed up half hour before the doors opened.
Yes, but we were done as the hordes were coming.
Yeah, yeah.
So
we were just wrapping up as the tour buses were coming.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that come off that are staying in the Mayan Riviera, you guys have probably done it. I know we have. You hop on a tour bus, you go to the ruins, Chichen Itza, and then they take you to the cenote. So when the tour bus arrives, a few hours, you know, if you're there first thing in the morning, I think the tour bus probably arrives around 10, 9:30, 10. So if you can beat the tour buses, great, but it's still going to be busy. It's still going to be busy, but not as busy. So yeah, Uxmal would be our favorite, for the ruins, because it's a little bit of ways away, not really touristy. I mean, obviously there's still going to be tourists, but it's not as busy. Yeah. And they're amazing. The ruins are amazing.
And every ruins you go to, there's people outside selling their services to do a tour for you.
Yeah.
And that rate is negotiable. So if it's more convenient for you to take a tour, you know, through your hotel or what have you, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Because they got to pay for the guide, they got to pay for the vehicle and the gas to get you there and the entry. That's all included. So I can understand the price that they charge. But if you can take a collectivo or something like that, which is, I don't know. We have a car, so I don't know what they charge anymore, but it's going to be cheap. Or maybe you've got a driver for the day and you negotiated a price. I mean, it's going to be cheaper to do that, and then negotiate if you really want a guide outside.
Negotiate. Always negotiate with everything.
I mean, don't undercut.
Yeah.
But they give you a price with the understanding that there's room for negotiation. So
that's right. Yeah.
I mean, don't. Like some people start at half and work there. I mean, that's just a waste of time. Nobody's going to accept half. So I don't know how you do it, but I hate negotiating, honestly. But and the only time I'm successful at negotiation is when I'm willing to say no and walk away, right? So if these points aren't met, okay, move on, right? And that seems to be the only time I'm successful. So if you're just negotiating for the sake of negotiating, I mean, I don't know about you. Some people thrive on it, but it just pisses me off. So, yeah, I guess it's whatever. The negotiating to get to come within your means is not so frustrating for me. But I find that when you're negotiating for a souvenir, for example, and it's just a game, and it just pisses me off. Like, I really don't need this item, so I'm not going to pay too much for it,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to walk away.
Yeah.
But that some people all thrive on that environment, and I'm just not one of them. So
Okay.
what we never really finished about the places that we live. So do you want to talk about Chicxulub?
Yeah, we can. Sorry, I went off on a
Yeah.
rant there.
So we did love.
Progreso we talked about. Yeah, Chicxulub we'll talk about
Yeah,
that.
we both loved the house at Chicxulub, though it was too big.
Too big and then too far out.
The location was terrible. It was, like I say, Chicxulub was a very nice town, but I mean, you couldn't even order takeout on a weeknight. When you'd work all day and you just didn't feel like cooking, there was no takeout because they were closed. They only opened on weekends, and then even then, like, oh, sorry, our driver didn't show up to work today, so no delivery today. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were driving everywhere, and we didn't like the location. Now the positioning of the house was perfect. We actually got to open our windows, and they were always open. Windows open, fans going, very little AC. We always slept with the
Well,
AC
it had
on,
no
but the
AC.
bedroom was upstairs.
Yeah, there was no AC in the main living quarters.
Yeah, but we didn't need it because
No,
there
you
was no
didn't.
AC in the living quarters of the Progreso house either. But
No,
you needed it.
You needed it. Yeah.
But because of that, it was an easterly breeze, so that was the majority of the time. So the breeze
The wind
was,
is usually coming from the east here.
yeah. So until the
keep that in
Nortes
mind.
came, when everybody was like, "Oh, Nortes so cold,"
I seen
that's
a girl.
when we got
I
hot
seen a
because
girl.
the wind changed.
I seen a girl yesterday on the Malecon with a winter parka. I swear to God, she had a winter parka. She wasn't fully wearing it, but she had one arm in and then was kind of draped over her shoulders. You're a Yucatecan when you're wearing a winter parka and it's 28 degrees, 27 degrees. It might have been, it was probably around 27, 28.
And I think we liked the Chicxulub house so much too because of our neighbors. They were very great. They were great neighbors.
Yeah.
Most of them were great neighbors.
Yeah.
There was a few bad apples, but
everyone was really good out there pretty well.
Our next door neighbor. And, a few, very, very, but they were all, not all, but the Mexicans weren't living there. They would just visit there. But it was the expats living there.
Yeah, a lot of expats were living around us. Foreigners. A lot of foreigners were living around us there.
Snowbirds are expats.
Yeah, a lot of them were living here, though, full time. Like they bought homes and were living here full time. So, but yeah, we did enjoy the people in that area. We met a lot of nice people. So we meet a lot of nice people everywhere we go. So that's one thing that's been no shortage on meeting nice people here. And we've made some amazing friends here, amazing friends. I can't tell you enough about the wonderful people that we met here. It's just been absolutely incredible. The friendly people, the kind-hearted people, just caring, giving, loving. I can't say enough about the people that we've met. I can't. And we've met a lot of them, a lot of people. So, but like Jen said, with the good people comes the bad people too. So those people are not in our lives. So just kind of weed those ones out, So, but the majority of them have been really, really good. 99% have been really, really good.
Some people come into your life for a reason or a season, but I mean, you benefit from all relationships.
Yeah,
whether they're long term or not, it doesn't matter. They came into your life for a reason. So so that brings us to this location, which is just outside of Mérida. We're in the middle of a sea of privadas. So privadas have their niche. I don't know. They're coveted, I suppose, because people feel safe in them, but we don't feel unsafe in Mexico. We do not feel the need to be behind the walls of privada.
No.
But it's not that far from Mérida. construction, they're still constructing roads. So to get out of here takes just 15 minutes when really it should be 5, honestly.
Yeah, the
Because
distance.
it's just like we're not that far from the
more
highway.
It's almost 20 minutes.
And the highway takes you to Merida, but we have to go through
zigzag
through these privadas to
and
get
go
out of
over
here.
topes. So the topes, you're slowing down to a stop to go over top, and there's a few of them.
Yeah.
So
because
there's
no access to this highway that leads you into Merida.
Yeah.
Now, once you do get to the Merida, there's a traffic light.
We'll talk about that briefly. So a lot of people, I know there's some YouTubers out there that are living in Concal, and I've heard a little bit of information about this area from other YouTubers. I'll give you my opinion. The traffic is horrific. It's horrific.
Getting worse every day.
And it's getting
honestly.
worse. There's one way in and there's one way out of Concal, unless you're going to go the back roads, and that's even going to be longer. So when you leave here from Concal, because we kind of consider, so there's Concal and then there's Chicxulub, a small little town just beside Concal, and we're not too far from Concal. We're very, very close. But we take the same highway that they take. And during rush hour, you can sit at that light for a long time.
Like 3 or 4 lights.
3 to 4 lights, yeah. And it's super busy. And then at the end of that light, as soon as you get into the city, you have a traffic circle that's super busy. And it's always backed up there, and it's always backed up at the light. And another issue is when you drive through the lights, you have 4 lanes, and then it goes down to 3 lanes. So everyone goes in that far right lane to turn because it gets backed up, and then they want to cut in and they want to cut everybody off, from that turning lane and go into the lane because they're going straight through. And everybody does it. So that's holding up traffic like crazy. So I kind of learned how to do that, right? So now I got to be in the left lane. You don't want to be in the right lane. Or if you're in a hurry, you just do what they do and just cut everybody off and try to sneak in because there's always someone who's not going very fast and you can usually get in. But it just slows traffic down, right? And then the bikes, the motorcycles are crazy, right? Like they're like weaving in and out and pulling right beside you. They're like this far away from your vehicle and they're all over the place, so that's crazy. So I wouldn't live out here. I wouldn't live in Concal, not if I drove and you had to go to Merida. It's a hassle to go into the city from here. It really is. It's a big hassle.
But if you don't drive, then you're relying on...
If you don't drive and you're just going to stay in your little bubble in Concal, perfect. It's great. Ideal.
Yeah, that's not going to happen because they don't have everything you need. And Uber and Diddy are too unreliable out here.
Yeah. No. The traffic to get in and out of here is, I would never buy a place out here and I would never live out here just for that reason alone because of the traffic. And it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse because they're building out here like crazy, privadas after privada after privada, right? And when these homes they're starting to fill up now, it's just going to be more and more and more traffic. Well, I don't see them building another highway. All these people are going to be moving over here, and there's only going to be one road going in and one road going out. The traffic is already
bad. This one isn't even half full. The one across the street is nowhere near.
They just started building it.
So there's like.
Well, they're all around us.
5 families
all around it. All around this whole area.
So that's just 2.
Yeah.
And the traffic's already bad. So when this fills up, because there's 300 units in here, when this fills up,
yeah. And there's accidents there, and down at the traffic circle, there's accidents, and it's crazy to get in and out of here. The best time to go is on Sundays. Is a good time to go. Because everyone seems to be at their destination, or really, if you have to go on a weekday, you got to go really early in the morning. Like you got to be out there at like 7 o'clock and gone, even before 7, between 6 and 7. As rush hour here seems to be like from 7:30 till 8 o'clock at night. Like seriously, no joke. It's busy all the time. It's crazy busy here. And as more people flock here, the traffic's getting worse. It's just going to get worse and worse. I'm hearing that about Jalapa, actually, that the traffic is really bad in Jalapa. And I don't know. I mean, I'll let you guys know when we get there, but I can't see it being much worse than here because it's not bad.
I found Chiapas worse, or San Cristobal.
Oh, yeah, San Cristobal, the traffic was terrible. The streets are so narrow, and the traffic was bad there too.
And I think because of their positioning in the mountains, the exhaust really bothered my lungs.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
you noticed, but it really bothered me. Like that's all I
Yeah.
smelled was car exhaust. But I
Yeah.
think it's because it's all trapped in that little valley, dale, whatever it is.
Yeah,
The
I
mountains.
don't. I say I don't like this area where we are. I don't care for it, and I don't. It just because of the traffic, and it's too for me. It's too far out, and the traffic is the two biggest things. And even if I was to live right in Concal, I wouldn't like it because it's just too far out of Merida, and then you got to fight that traffic to go in and out all the time. It's just too much of a hassle. It's too much. It's not to me. It's not worth the headaches and the time off my life sitting at those lights to get through in traffic. So yeah, I've heard other people talk on YouTube about this area, and that's my opinion on it.
So let's move on to food then. So what do we like to eat? We like to eat tamales.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we can. I had a tamale today that I've never had before. The corn tamale.
Which is the first one I was probably introduced to years ago in Guadalajara. It's sweeter, so it's just like a corn dough.
It was like a sweet corn, yeah.
It's a corn dough, and there was corn in it, and it's cooked, probably steamed in.
That was the first time I ever had it.
Banana leaves. Well, we've had other tamales.
Yeah.
So, and the tamales can be different depending on the region that you come from. So, and I've noticed here there's a couple of different ones, and the ones that we really like, they're thinner. They all seem to be cooked in banana leaves, however, but they're thinner and they're stuffed with either chicken or pork, and they put a tomato sauce, a mild tomato sauce, when they serve it, and we really like those ones. And then there's one. It's more of a ball, and I don't know that it's made with corn at all because it's a much softer dough. And it's definitely steamed, and I think they don't taste terrible. I just don't like the texture of them.
The texture, yeah.
They're just too soft.
This one was okay today. I didn't mind it. It was a little bit dry, but other than that,
okay. So the one we had today is like the ones that I had in Guadalajara, but this one was like it was way too big. I think he made them. It
was thick. Yeah.
It was thick and large.
Yeah,
like it did not need to be that large.
Yeah,
Usually,
it was like
the one I was used to that kind of dough
pretty big.
In a thin one.
Yeah, like a normal tamale.
Yeah. So I'm really not sure why he made it so big. If it was a lot thinner,
he was a big guy. Maybe that's why. He was a big guy.
If they had made them thinner, it would not be so much dough to make it so dry.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just need a little more tomato. The flavor was nice, though. It was nice. Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever had that.
Yeah,
that style.
So but remember too that tamales is a Mexico cuisine or a cuisine in Mexico, not just the Yucatan. And then what else do we like? We like pastor.
Yeah, the pastor.
If we go for tacos, we're likely ordering pastor.
Yeah.
I do like el hombres. So I would compare that to like a fajita dish back home, but the flavor is so much better. But that's kind of what you see on your plate, like what you would see back home for a fajita on your plate. It's kind of, but the flavor is wow when you make tacos of it. El hombre, I don't know if that's Mexico or Yucatan. I have no idea. I'm going to assume it's Mexico. But to the pastor is the meat that it's seasoned pork, and then they put it on those, they call them trompos. So a lot like it's a spit, yes. So it's red. The seasoning is often red, but not always.
No, not always.
Not always. And some people
that.
Say that if it's not red, it's not pastor, but I don't think that's true.
No, it's not true.
Yeah. So it's on. They put it. They marinate.
Marinate. Yeah.
This meat, and then they cook it on a spit. So they layer it. It takes them like quite a while.
Yeah.
To layer this spit, all the way up.
Oh.
And so it goes around on this spit, and then they just cut it off the sides, and you make tacos of it. So that's a favorite of ours. If we're going to tacos, pretty sure we're getting pastor.
Guys. I got to let me just redo this for 1 second. Jen froze.